That's right, y'all. We back on the scene to pull the lesson out. This is Gaming Looks Good, episode number 23, and we are talking about Tom Clancy's The Division. Now, this is the show where we take one game and we look at it from the lens of diversity. So, race, gender, sexuality, we put all that out on blast for y'all. I'm Shareef Jackson, broadcasting to y'all live out of Milwaukee. You can follow us at GamingLooksGood.com, at GamingLooksGood on Twitter, which is all part of my personal stuff, at ShareefJackson.com and at Shareef Jackson on Twitter. And if you see the little robe I'm wearing, this is a Jedi robe, y'all. So I got the insignia right there. Had some trouble finding the camera, but don't worry, y'all. No Dark Jedi getting here, no Sith getting over here, you know what I'm saying? No emo Kylo Rens are accepted here. This is a Jedi-free zone. So, just wanted to let y'all know that I'm in my Force Awakens mode since it's now available finally as a digital copy, as a legal digital copy, I should say, actually. So let's roll into The Division. And I wanted to start actually with the character creator. This is usually the first thing that you see when you boot up like these games, and usually even if they give you the option to divvy it up, they give you a white scruffy face guy. So I saw this is the first thing I saw, what you see on the right. I immediately got upset, started tweeting about it, and thankfully I was proven wrong. They actually randomized it. It just so happens that I got randomized to a white dude, but plenty of other people got various genders and various races on their initial character. So like you don't face that mentality where, oh, white guy's the default and I got to alter that to fit my weirdness, and just to give you a sense of like some of those faces, I'm gonna scroll through for you and you can check them out. So the thing to notice there is that those are just the default sort of faces. So they give you about 8 preset faces. That's what's randomized that you get when you start. You can do further alterations on skin tone, facial hair. For some reason, there's a million neck tattoos. I have no idea why. But just the fact that they randomize on that level is dope. So great start here, even though I was a little wrong. Another great start is that one of the main characters that you interface with is actually like a Asian woman, Faye Alao, and she's pretty badass. So I'm just going to play the first couple of introductions that you get to her, and you will see why. So let's check her out.
Riders are moving through in force and headed this way.
Put your people there. I see someone else got the call. I'm Agent Faye Lau, Division. Activated the same time as you, part of the second wave of us going in. I don't know what happened to the first wave, but unfortunately, there's still lots left for us to do. We don't have much intel, and we don't have the luxury of failure. Not with Manhattan under lockdown and Brooklyn on the brink. People like me, and you, we're what's left to hold the line. With any luck, we'll have more to go on once we rendezvous with the commander. More about the situation, about who's turning the streets into a war zone, anything that's going to help us do what we're supposed to do.
So she clearly seems like she's like the emotional center. You don't get a sense of her badassness. Like she seems like that she might be kind of a commander that's kind of out of line of fire, that kind of gives you advice, which she does. But check out like this next scene to see exactly how gangsta she can really get.
Hey, bad news. I'm not gonna be able to get out there. Not with my goddamn leg like this. I'll do what I can from here, but it's not the same. You have no idea how much I wanted to be in the field. I trained for a scenario like this my entire life, but it's worse than anything we could have imagined. You know how they won't let you get too close to anyone, so it won't mess you up when you're finally activated? Well, I did that, and it didn't fucking work. I'm attached. These are my people. This is my city. We're taking it back. Oh.
Look, you need to...
Yeah, okay.
Now, I didn't show this part, but basically you get attacked and she clearly gets the worst of it. She's all bandaged up and she's still like, yo, I want to get out there and crack some heads, So she really is the kind of character that does serve as the emotional rock, but at the same time is not scared to go out and mix it up. I only wish that they didn't have her get this injured to not have her in combat, because I'd love to see her on your side, as like your partner, maybe in some of the story missions. That would have been dope, but I don't feel like that she's only like that trope of like the woman kind of that just like calls you and like gives you advice and stuff. She does seem like she's a soldier and she's gangster, and she just takes a bad hit and is out of commission, which I'm okay with. In general, like the women in this game are pretty dope, as is the next one, who is the medical doctor, Dr. Candle. So let's check her out.
It's not like this place is gonna win any prizes either. Antique equipment, 0 staff, patients lining up out the door. This isn't gonna cut it.
We're doing the best we can, Dr. Candle. Any suggestions you might have, I'm happy to listen.
I know. Beggars, choosers, all that crap. What matters is beating this thing, but I can't do that without knowing more about it.
Here's a good place to start.
So the cool thing is that a lot of the scenes, because there's so many strong women in this game, a lot of the scenes are just, like this is a good example of Faye just talking to like Dr. Candle while like you're just kind of chilling in the back, not saying nothing, you know what I'm saying? Now, like your character is mute through the game, so it's sort of like a GTA 3 thing where like you don't say anything. And I'm kind of glad, because the other actors in this game put in such a great performance that I feel like if he says something, it would kind of mess it up. And plus, they're clearly like the experts. Like, even though you are a division agent, it does seem like you're kind of like, not as, can't talk the talk as these people can. Now, they did drop in a dope bit about Dr. Candle's sexuality, actually. And I thought that the way that they presented it was pretty dope. So let's check that out.
Dr. Ellis taking over the hospital wing was a lifesaver. Now I can focus on research. My wife always says I'm better with pathogens than with people. My ex-wife. Funny. Anyways, you just keep doing what you're doing. We are halfway to a blueprint for a vaccine, and with your help, we will get the rest.
So, very, very dope there, right? I mean, like, she just kind of drops it in there. There's no the more you know music, or no, like, kind of focus on it. It's just accepted, like, hey, there's gay people in the world, deal with it, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's your doctor, and I always prefer that they present alternative lifestyles, homosexuality, different races and stuff, that they don't present it as this huge thing where that solely defines that character, because like she mentions it here and you never hear about it again, but that's still a part of her character, and that shouldn't either take away from her abilities as a doctor, or transform her into like super super gay woman that just solves everything, right? So I feel like that they really did do a great balance of just like humanizing her. Just she's like a person, and she has a ex-wife. Great. So out of all of these great acting performances, there are some that are not good, but because they're balanced out, I don't mind them. You know what I'm saying? Like, usually when black people are in these games, like, they tend to talk in a really exaggerated, kind of almost coonish kind of way, as this character does.
Get on over here.
Now, if she was one of the only black characters in the game, I would be pissed off at that, right? Get on over here, because it's really kind of, she doesn't talk like anybody else in the game, and she just sounds like just random exaggerated black woman. But you balance her against a character like this.
Right. Glad you're here. We've got a variety of issues to deal with, which I prioritized for you.
Yeah, so the game does a good job of providing not just diversity of skin color and race, but also of like personality. So it's not only like this kind of person talks this way, with the protagonist. With the antagonist, we'll get into a little bit about how one of the factions is pretty racially coded. But in terms of the protagonist, I feel like that they really do a like great job of that. Now, unfortunately, speaking of the antagonist and women, there are not a lot of women that you're fighting in this game. There is Larae Barrett, who we'll talk about later, who is the leader of one of the factions. But in terms of just like the regular people that like you're fighting in the levels, or even that you see in the world that are not civilians, you just don't hear a lot of female voices. Really, the only one that you hear is this one. So that's like the enemy sniper class. And that's literally, probably the only women out of the main classes that like you see. And like, and these classes have, these are factions. They have shotgunners, they have sort of grenade launchers, they have really big armored people. They have people with baseball bats. They have all different characters, and the only one that really has a female model as well as a voice is one of the snipers. So real weak sauce there, especially after they put so much detail into the protagonist and into the voice acting and the mocap. I feel like I wish that like they would have made sure that the enemies that you fought were as diverse as well. Now, speaking of like diversity, this game takes place in New York, and one thing I really miss about New York is sometimes when you ride the train, there's people talking in other languages. You have no idea what's going on, but it still feels dope because I'm like, yo, this is New York. Like I'm in a place that has so much culture and is so diverse that people feel free to speak, kind of whatever language it is. And they did keep that with some of the civilians that you help out in the game. So let's check that out.
Ultimamente non si vede tanta gentilezza in giro.
So I have no idea what she said, but she wanted some water. I gave her some water, and you will assume that means thank you. But just little details like that is what really makes this game feel like it can take place in a area as diverse as New York City. Now in your base, you even see quite a bit of like diversity, especially after the base starts to get built out. After you do a few missions, and you start to see families and civilians pop up. So check out the scene from, I don't know, maybe about halfway in the game, and it really shows you how like people are starting to find comfort in your base, and it's not just white folks. So check it out. Yep. So like we got people of color on the line waiting for supplies here, looking kind of fresh. You know what I'm saying? Got the Adidas stripe on the sweats.
My back is all fucked up. I need some meds bad.
Yeah, that guy's back is messed up. Yep. So as you saw, you had people in that section. And by the way, this is the big post office that's behind Madison Square Garden as well. I don't know if you recognize that from the first part, but so they set up a pediatric care. They got a little black kid kind of running in like circles, a black mom, and like you just see people of like various shades, both seeking help and the ones that are giving help, and that really makes me feel good about a game like this. Now, I spoke a little bit about Larae Barrett being one of the stronger characters of like color and female characters in the game. Now, she is a enemy, but she's so well defined that I felt bad when I had to take her out. And and she's pretty fucked up. Like she's definitely pretty homicidal. But the way that she talks is so engaging that she makes you feel like I can see how she's leading people. And for background, her faction is called the Rikers, and they basically are the prisoners of Rikers Island, which is one of the main prisons in New York. So let's hear her rally up the troops.
Just the usual.
One cut. One cut's gonna make you bleed, but one cut don't kill you. One cut just makes a scar.
We're gonna fucking fight him.
A deeper cut.
We're gonna fucking fight him. We're gonna get him.
Makes you cry.
So she's just slicing this dude up during her like motivational speech. I mean, she's badass.
But you can turn that cry into a roar, or you can turn it into a whimper. That's your choice. So you can choose to be a victim, no matter where you at. Penthouse, in a prison cell, or even free. Roaming your own streets again. Complain about the cold, the rats. Complain about who's in charge.
So clearly this dude was questioning Larae. So at first you might think that she's giving this motivational speech about victimhood and all that stuff, but but I mean she is doing that, but she's also like, yo, this dude tried to say that I'm not the boss, so I gotta show a lesson. So like it's this really evil kind of thing. Like I'm gonna give this motivational speech and really some dope kind of messages on what it means to be a victim while she slices somebody up. I love it.
Some people want to stay the victim. They want to cry. I'll give you what you want. You want to be the victim? Well, I'll make you one. I'll make you one.
Well, goddamn.
Me? I'm going to take what's mine. They say this disease is a tragedy. They say it's the end of the world.
Oh, yeah.
This disease is our teacher.
Oh, hell
teaching
yes.
the uniforms that they done. Teaching us to rise up. They taken from us long enough. Now we take from them. Their houses, their cars, their families, their lives. This is our town. And now is our time. It's our time.
Like, you know, you can see how she could rally up a bunch of criminals, right? I mean, like, she's really like, you know, dropping some valid points about like, well, okay, not valid in terms of killing people. Don't worry, y'all. I'm not a Riker, okay? Don't email me or like tweet me saying I'm a Riker, okay? I'm a division agent, trust me. But she is very, very compelling, very violent, very direct, and you don't see that a lot with people of color, especially women of color in games. I've read a lot of stories and seen a lot of talks. I'm specifically thinking of some work by Catherine Cross that like talks about how we need problematic women in games. You know, like we need women that are not always motivated by the positive things, or not always abused, or things like that. There's some women that, you know, they're just fucked up. You know, and Larae is definitely that case. Now, I felt bad after that, and then you have to fight her, and she's saying some other shit that I'm like, yo, I kind of agree with her. Like, I kind of didn't want to take her down. So let's check out how she sounds when you actually see her in combat. So she said, if you kill me, it's just one more dead black body, right? Which is crazy because this game doesn't really touch a lot on the race stuff, even though they do have a diverse set of folks. But like, she's like, yo, just another black body. That's like how y'all do, right? And that really goes into a lot of the core of this game, which is you are a government agency going in to kill people. You know what I'm saying? Now you are technically killing people that are trying to take over New York, but you're not bringing them to justice. You're not bringing them to court. You know what I'm saying? So her feeling is, yo, like, I got to protect my own. I'm a black woman here, and y'all killing black people all the time, even before all this apocalypse shit. So like, I thought about her growing up as a black woman and dealing with, racial harassment and sexual harassment, all that stuff in the city, and really being like, yo, this is just another kind of another manifestation of that on the ultimate level, right? So let's see what else she says here.
Warning. Incoming hostiles
detected. So she basically said you can kill me, but you can't kill us all. Like, she's really like, I'm willing to die for these ideas. You know what I'm saying? So she's in there, you know, and like, she's like, yo, like, these ideas are more important than me. Now she does die. Okay, but I really felt some kind of way when I was doing this. I was kind of like, yo, like, I really want to hear about more of her as a character, and I want to see how she got here. And I'm really like, wow, like she really, is going through some shit. You know what I'm saying? She's a dope character, and there's definitely like some different kind of phone calls and like audio samples and things like that you could find in the game that add more to her character. But she just really dope. But y'all, I always got to end with some kind of lighthearted thing, some kind of funny thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to end on a serious note. One of the funniest things in this game, besides the various glitches, is sometimes there's a woman that walks around your like base and just asks you how you're doing, but she doesn't care what you're doing. She'll just interrupt you. So check out where she comes into my screen here. So this is the screen where like you kind of edit your weapons, you add attachments, all that kind of stuff.
How's it going?
She just staring me down and just crosses like our arms like, yo, are you done editing your damn weapon yet? Because we need to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like it was hilarious. I was laughing about that for a long time. But anyway, y'all, I would definitely check out The Division if you are into sort of loot-based third-person shooters. And from a diversity angle, I think they do pretty well. Larae is an awesome character that I hope I can see more of in games. And again, the big downside is, just make sure that the actual characters that you're fighting against, not just the bosses, are also diverse, so that you have women, you have men, you have, black, white, Asian, whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing that a lot of these games fail at. But once again, props to them for randomizing that character creator. So once again, y'all, game looks good. Episode number 23, GameLooksGood.com, @GameLooksGood on Twitter, and I'm out. Peace.